7th and 8th grade middle school science. I also have...
Kristen.
Yes, sir.
I have to formally introduce.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Hi, I'm Paul Bishop. I'll be the moderator for the session. We're going to run a pretty tight ship because we got 6 presentations. We'll stay right on track. So when it gets near the 5-minute mark, I'll signal you, and then at 0 minutes, I'll jump up and down.
No worries.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Kristen Sorensen, who's going to talk to us about Minecraft in the middle school science classroom. Kristen facilitates science learning and technology integration at an independent K-8 school in Sonoma County. She's currently exploring game-based learning with middle school teachers and students. Kristen.
That's me. And I got my master's in ed tech here at SSU, and my thesis advisor, Jessica Parker, is here, so you can blame her for all this madness, or thank her as I would. And it would be useful for me to get a little sense of who you are, and I'm sorry I'm going to be a little bit married to this area because I need to click through my slides, but who you are and why in the world you picked Minecraft in the middle school classroom, or if you're just forced to be here. But to get a little sense, because I'll be honest with you, I Googled Scenic and looked on the website, and I was kind of like, okay, they do stuff with broadband for educational institutions? Maybe, I don't really know. So maybe just give me a sense of what you're looking for, because I can tweak this to go in any way that you want. Are you just here for information? Oh.
I guess you have to stay right there.
And so that's the microphone that gets your...
Here I shall stay. I'm not used to standing in one place. So are you here for information? Are you here because you really want to know about Minecraft, middle school? What's the story? Could a few people just kind of fill me in?
Well, as a network engineer, I just want to know how the network might use it.
Okay. Excellent.
I'm curious as to how you use Minecraft in teaching.
Fabulous.
I actually worked with some applications, and I know there's some gaming in the classroom and stuff they find out what you're doing so they can write it down.
Awesome. And so if you want more information than you're going to get in this sort of snippet, I'm going to be logging our process on Twitter. So that'd be a really easy way to just get snippets of what's going on. But you also have my email. I also have a YouTube channel that I kind of moderate for the school, but that the videos I'll be showing you are all linked there if you're interested in delving in a little more deeply. So Minecraft, how many people are familiar? Know a fair amount about it, have played, have heard it, but don't really know what the deal is. This is totally new to me. Just give me a know it and play it. A little bit of info, dangerous thing, never heard of the darn thing. Okay, 3 years ago this game came out, designed by a Swedish hacker turned tech guy whose company Mojang has been quite successful based simply upon this game. And it's what's referred to as a sandbox game. And that means basically what you'd think it would be. You go to the kindergarten classroom, it's recess time, we go out to the sandbox, some of us are playing by ourselves, others of us are digging tunnels together, and the next day we come in and maybe some of the structure's there, or maybe it's all different. So there's a large amount of room for creative play, and this game in 3 years has sold over 85 million copies. So its success has been exponential, and it really ranges from quite young kids, 8 years old, all the way through adults. And it's interesting to me as an educator for a variety of reasons, but one of the things I like is there seems to be a pretty fair gender balance in young people playing Minecraft. A lot of times when we look at video gaming and gaming in education, we're taking what are seen as boy games, and this is neat because it doesn't have quite the gendering. Now with adults it does. It's definitely more popular among males, but in younger kids we're seeing a little more balance there. So there's a variety of ways one can interact with this game. You can just adventure and explore. You can build alone or collaboratively, and you can go in survival mode. And in survival mode, it's more like a traditional video game in the sense that you can have player versus player. You can have zombies enabled and all sorts of different stuff. There's a nether region that's underground, and go nuts with that. If you would like to play on your own, just be aware. It could be a huge time suck. Already in the classroom, my partner teacher and I are finding we're like, should we plan or should we just play? And playing is important at this stage, thank goodness. The screen capture you see here is from a play session. In our classroom, about 10% of the kids are pretty experienced. We have 40 7th graders. And of the other kids, the balance looks a lot like this. Maybe 50% have screwed around a little bit to a fair amount, and the other 40% have never played at all. And I just thought this was cool because, it gives you a sense of what people are creating in this world. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you will recognize this location. If you like history, if you're a sci-fi buff, a fantasy buff, you're going to find things that you might recognize. So in order to give you a little sense of why we might or how we might integrate it into curriculum, I'm going to give you kind of 2 mini case studies. And the first is something that happened to me this fall. I do cell modeling in 8th grade when we do biology, and you may recall this from your days in high school or middle school science. We're studying plant and animal cells, we're making cells with tomatoes and chicken fat, we're looking at them under the microscope, and somebody bakes a plant cell cake, and somebody writes the organelle storybook, and you can see the high level of engagement with my students there reading the storybook. I felt a little bad picking that picture, but it was the only one I had. And, it's all right. They have to know what the organelles are. They have to have some sense of structure and function. But it isn't the greatest activity on the planet. I've never given class time to it. I make it kind of a do-at-home project, and most kids enjoy it. So this year I was announcing the project, and I had a little boy come up to me, and he said, could I make a digital cell model? And I was like, sure. Why not? How would you do it? And he said, I don't know. I'm going to look into it. So he goes and he talks to his friends, and I announce to the next section, and you could do a digital cell model. Hadn't thought of that before. Well, the next thing you know, I have 5 kids doing it in Minecraft, all boys this time, mind you, and one student who decided Autodesk has now made all of their software available for free to teachers and students in California. And so he downloaded Maya, which if any of you are familiar with graphic, it's pretty complex. And he made a 3D cell model using Maya, which was pretty impressive, and he logged a tremendous amount of time. But I was super stoked about it. And so the first group of kids decided to make a plant cell. And the blocks of Minecraft lend themselves very well. The creator of the game decided deliberately to go with this kind of old school look of using the blocks. That was an artistic, aesthetic choice. He couldn't program it differently. And so that works really well for a plant cell. And this kid chose sponge to represent the cell wall, and he had his rationale for why that was. And I asked him, for every material you pick, there has to be a relationship to either structure or function, ideally both. Then there were students who wanted to make an animal cell. And this is a video that I'll show at the end if we have time, or you can check out on the YouTube channel. But if you want to do spheres in Minecraft, it requires a bit of work. And there's something known as game modifications. They're / commands, and I'm learning to get to know them quite well now as a teacher moderator in a Minecraft world. And so he was able to find somebody who had created a sphere, and through a variety of alchemy and coding was able to create a sphere that somebody else had already programmed, and he simply was able to take that program and modify it and put it into his, and then share it with other kids. So he was able to create an animal cell, and as I said, I'll show you that in a moment. So it was neat to see the process that these students went through in their selection of materials, much more thoughtful than necessarily was always the case when a kid presented their cake. Why did you pick blue gel for the vacuole? That's the icing my mom had. Okay, vacuoles hold water. All right, maybe I'll buy that. And so I was impressed with the range of materials and also their thought, their ability to model in 3 dimensions, their ability to introduce movement, This is a student who laid down track, which you can have in Minecraft, and had a simulation through the endoplasmic reticulum. Stakes were representing the ribosomes. Currently, we're doing a 7th grade medieval village. And we're attempting to apply kind of the principles of project-based learning. So first you gotta let them fool around. And then we're asking them to kind of notice their instances of collaboration and problem solving, pointing it out to them. And that's what allows them to see, oh, we're learning as we're playing. So there's a high level of engagement and play. They think they're just having fun. And our role as teachers is just to stop them and get them to reflect. So the students are figuring out how to build walls together. This is our city. I'm figuring out how to create a server and create a shared world, which is new tech for me. So it's really neat because we're kind of learning together. And so here's an example of a student journal entry. We're coming up with the objective together, and they're telling us what their personal successes were, what their area of challenge was, and what they accomplished. And so they do this every day at the end of their session. And it allows us to track their learning and them to track their learning. So what we have found, and this is based on principles that people much smarter than I have come up with as they've looked at how students learn and how you do this kind of learning, is that these are the elements that one must have for success. You've got to give kids time to reflect. They'd play all period if we let them. So, you know, there's an ability in Minecraft EDU is what I play, and I can freeze all the students so they can't move. And then we say, okay, we're going to take 5 minutes and we're going to discuss what's going on. We're going to write something down. Getting them to put their learning into writing, of course, is huge. We have agreements, and that's developed together as a community. How are we in this world? I learned a new word, griefing. Has anybody ever heard that? It's when you mess up somebody else's stuff in the game. And so this kid built a big tree in our play area and put water on it, and it flooded somebody's house. We have a lunchtime club where we just play. And, you know, oh, Owen's griefing. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And so the kids explained it to me, and we added it to our agreements. Technical support is huge. I'm doing a lot of research on my own, but having the IT person at our school help me is a really big thing. And, you know, I'm making lots of mistakes and learning from them. And letting go of teacher control. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't have all the answers. And I honestly think that's one of the best ways we learn with students. So the outcomes that we're looking for and that we're seeing are, first off, these technical competencies that I think are really cool. The kids are learning how to run servers, especially when they play Minecraft outside of school. They're learning programming from these basic / commands all the way to Java. There's a huge community around making YouTube videos of your Minecraft world and sharing them. And if you look at the YouTube channel, you can see the ones that my kids have made. There's this peer-to-peer learning, this shift from I'm the teacher, I'm standing here and telling you what to do, to who knows how to fill in the moat? My question today. I do. Okay, Stephanie, come over and teach me how. Stephanie doesn't normally get to be the teacher. Kids who are academically normally the powerhouses, if they haven't played, are kind of lost. So it's a great moment when you have your kid who's, you know, on a special education plan, sitting down and teaching the girl who always gets an A. And she's sitting there going, oh, wait, Logan, would you slow down and explain that to me again? What a great gift for this kid. So it's really, really cool. It's super fun. It's fun for us. It's fun for them. And it connects what they're doing outside of school. Most kids are gaming, whether it's on their phone, on their computer, in real life. And so here's something I do at home that I've got these things I do that maybe aren't identified as skills. And now I go in the classroom and I recognize, oh, it's a skill to know how to chat with somebody appropriately. Pretty cool. So how much time have I got? Do we have time for a video or no? No, I'll take questions. But I encourage you to take a look at the stuff because it's neat. Questions?
Did you have to get any sort of curriculum approval to bring it into the classroom?
I work at an independent school, and 4 days a week I'm the 7th and 8th grade science teacher, but 1 day a week I haven't really figured out what I'm going to call my title, but basically I help teachers implement technology into their classrooms. And so this is a part of that. And Jessica was kind enough to provide us with a site license for Minecraft.edu. So I just went to my head of school and said, here's what I want to do. And he pretty much says yes to whatever I want. So it's real nice. There's really an opportunity to explore, and you're not penalized for trying new things and for making your way through.
So I'm a CTO at the county office of ed.
Mhm.
We had all of a sudden teachers asking for licenses and wanted to get Minecraft installed without any of the background that you have done. And that's one of the challenges. Do we let it go? Do we open it up? Without that kind of planning that I think is so essential, and that structure that you put around it, you've tied it to biology, you've tied it to a curriculum, you've tied it to things. Where I struggle as a CTO is going, so do I let this go? Is there a curriculum around it? Do I see that there's some structure that is being placed around it? I mean, these are great examples, and this is what I would point the teachers to. But
Feel free to send them my contact info. But I think also, I didn't have all this when I started. I had a little boy come up to me and say, can I use Minecraft? And I said yes. And then Jessica said, do you want a license? And I said yes. And then I put kids on it and just saw what happened.
So, actually, we got time. We're on a tight schedule, but thank you.
Thank you.